Hello.
Hello. You right?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, I mean we did this, so
Not for
let's move on.
purposes of the record, but yeah.
Ah, so let it be stated that
History must
yet
know.
again there has been a conversation regarding how we as individuals are doing.
Yes,
That is all. No more needs saying.
anything massively pertinent is brought up in the videos anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like your AIDS diagnosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, sorry, you were going to say that to later.
Um, only thing you've ever
He
given me.
hasn't got AIDS, or if he has, it was one hell of a guess on my part.
Yeah. Well, speaking of AIDS,
Yes.
no, I don't have anything.
Oh, actually, there is something.
Is there?
There's a Gaza ceasefire. So
Yeah.
now all the aid can get through again.
Yes.
See, it is relevant.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
I mean, it won't last, will it? But at least it's.
Well, no.
Although I will have to say, I have found the timing of this to be quite telling.
What, in that it's just before the inauguration?
It's one day before Trump's inauguration.
It reminds me of the Jimmy Carter's hostage crisis, where some hostages were
Was that
taken.
Iran?
Oh, yeah, and he was negotiating right until the last minute, and the Iranians waited until Ronald Reagan was inaugurated, and then they released the hostages so he could take credit. Apparently, some backroom dealings between the Reagan's campaign team and Iran.
Oh Christ! I was at the Iran Contra thing. That makes sense.
No, the Iran Contra thing was later. The Iran Contra
Uh,
thing, I don't know a great deal about it, but they were selling um, drugs
okay.
to the Contras in Nicaragua
Mm.
and using the money to buy or funneling the money to Iran so they could buy drug or money or guns with even.
Was this the CIA?
Well, I
They,
again,
they, they did drug smuggling thingy,
again,
didn't
I'm not entirely certain. All I know is that some money changed hands, and Reagan said he knew nothing about it. But although to be
But
fair,
thankfully, someone got him on tape. No, wait,
no,
that's jinx.
the wrong president. He It always amazes me when people say Ronald Reagan was a good president because he was really fucking hands off. Like he basically wasn't doing the job. He had a load of
Oh,
people around him doing it. The only stuff he was interested in was the crazy shit, like Star Wars with the
good film.
nuclear weapons in space
Oh, that thing.
and the teacher in space, the Challenger thing,
Oh, yes,
which ended
really badly.
really badly.
Couldn't have gone much worse.
Unless it was big.
Unless it had been Big Bird.
Yeah, people cite that all the time, but it was probably just mentioned in a meeting offhand when they were mulling over, who can we send up? And so we said, what about Big Bird? It's like, well, there's a lot of complications with the costume, and maybe not.
How? Now, in the nicest way possible, what sort of size was the lady they did send up? Was
Av-
she a big bird?
no, she was,
Well, that one.
I guess, fairly petite. She was average human size, I guess.
Average human size in America. Mm.
She was, thin
You
enough.
big fat Yanks.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't talk. I'm a chunky boy.
you
But,
are.
that means, if anything, that means I've got even more opportunity to talk because I'm one of the gang, whilst not being part of the gang because no one wants me in their gang.
I want you in my gang.
Yeah.
Be my
I'm
gang.
part of the Big Bang gang.
Are you indeed?
Are you part of the Big Bang gang?
You know.
You're not part of the Big Bang gang.
No.
Brian Cox is part of the Big Bang gang.
Is he?
He is.
Does a big bang gang have a big gang bangs?
No, we just believe in the Big Bang.
What do
We're
you
a
mean?
gang that believe in the Big Bang.
Okay.
We're all from the Big Bang. We came from the Big Bang. We believe in the Big Bang. You're not part of the Big Bang gang. I thought better of you.
Oh, I'm gonna miss you when you die. I really am.
uh, I'll miss you first.
Oh, you'll miss me. Oh,
If you say
I
so.
made
Do
him
you know how
say
I
it.
was thinking
I
about
made
this?
him say
Actually,
it.
I was thinking about this earlier. Do you know how you should know unequivocally that I like you as a human being?
Um,
Other than the fact that we regularly communicate, which is about as far as it gets
yeah.
for me. There's a very specific thing that I realise that I do, but I only really do with people that I actually like.
Do you get a little bit of a semi whenever you see me or think about me?
No,
Right, that's a shame.
Because well, you say that, but the thing that, calm down. It's you saying that it's crazy because I said that I genuinely said earlier that I think that Ben's one big depressive episode away from trying to fuck me. So you saying that doesn't
to,
help your
to
case,
to whom did you say this?
colleague.
Right.
Well, we're talking about dating apps, and I mentioned that you're on
I'll be honest with
a
you.
dating app.
I
Yeah.
I I I
Is it? It wouldn't even take a big depressive episode. Is that what
well,
you're
it
about
would
to say?
it might take a couple, but I don't know,
Okay.
man. I could on some cold winter's night, we're
Well, I am a
snowed
chunky
in
boy.
in a
I've got an
cabin,
electric blanket now as well. So,
huddling under your electric blanket, hands
oh, it's
start.
no, it's a lay on it. It's a lay on it
Oh,
electric
all
blanket.
right,
Is
laying
it?
on your electric blanket and hands start wandering,
It is only a single.
and before you know it,
Before you know it,
I'm
all
crying
of a
in the
sudden,
shower, and you're smoking a cigarette.
as long as it's not a golden shower, we're all good. I was
Okay.
gonna say we're all golden, but actually.
Yet another, yet
So
another
anyway,
conquest. I
the thing that
speaking of
I do.
golden showers. Sorry, just very
Oh
quickly.
God.
So where I work, the
You gotta be real careful what you say here.
the faculty have what they call a golden hour,
Oh God.
which is to say the people in the program get together and discuss pertinent things and that week's progress and whatever. And every time I think or say it, I have to physically remind myself not to say golden shower. I've been to a
Golden
couple. I have to say I'm going to
hour.
the faculty golden shower. I mean hour.
So Tony Blackburn on Radio 2 has a golden hour. It's Tony Blackburn's golden hour, sort of thing, he
Yeah.
says. But yeah, that's my experience of golden hours. You don't want to know my experience of golden showers.
I think I already do.
I don't think you know all of them.
Well, you told me one of them.
Was that the Eurovision?
Well, that was a hotel, I think, with your
Oh
current
no.
partner.
Oh yeah, it's not going to that in case
Well,
someone hears it.
Yeah.
Anywho, I
Anyway,
feel so sorry for the cleaning staff. No, the thing that I do that indicates to you, or should indicate to you, that
when
I
I
am
went
instantly fond of you.
when I went to Greece on a school trip, some of the older students we were allowed to drink one night, and I
Yeah,
got very drunk and threw up in the bathroom,
as you do.
and
Lightweight.
I felt very very bad because I left a bit of a mess, and I did think of leaving some money for the cleaner. And then when we got back to school, um, the teacher who had led the trip sort of asked me which room I had been in, and I lied and said I couldn't remember. So I can't imagine there wasn't some sort of conversation about that.
Oh well.
Anyway, why do you love me? Go on.
No. It's not why do I. It's how do I show it.
All right. How do I know if he
Well,
really loves
this
me?
is something that I do with both you and my son.
Okay.
Hence why it's not something dirty and inappropriate.
Okay.
You pervert.
I'm
This
not.
is a genuinely sincere thing that I
Okay.
do.
All right.
And when you realise it, you're probably going to feel quite guilty because actually I'm wasting my time when it comes to you. But I'll do it anyway.
Oh, what? Okay.
Are you going to hazard any more guesses before?
Um. Well, you're not very good at reassuring me, and you don't seem to like doing it.
No, so it's not that.
Um. Do you?
Like I say, something that I'm definitely wasting my time doing with you. I think there's been one notable success with it. Otherwise, it's been
Do you give me advice unprompted?
nope, because I get arsy about that, so it would be unfair for me to. I don't try to give you unprompted advice.
Look, I think the key takeaway from giving advice, and this applies to you too, viewer slash listener, is you are more than welcome to give me advice, but I am under no obligation to take it.
Bingo, absolutely.
I will hear you out, and
I would rather just not get given any advice unless I've asked for it personally.
Yeah.
Like just because I've got a problem does not mean I'm after a solution. Maybe I have a solution. I'm just waiting for an opportunity to implement.
It's like I always say, although not on camera and not to you probably. If somebody is,
If you put it in my pooper, let me push back.
well, yes. If I,
I've seen you say that on camera.
not for these videos though.
Oh yes. Oh no.
That's the other channel.
Oh, sorry. I just need to write something down before I forget.
Okay.
Go on, carry on.
Is it about butt stuff?
No.
Okay. Yeah. If basically, if somebody's upset, it's like, do you want advice, sympathy, or do you just want me to listen?
yeah, that's it. And unless otherwise, I assume it's the last one with a hint of a second,
Well,
right?
yeah, I made a point of saying that I mentioned a problem I've been having at work to a colleague and said, look, I don't need your advice on this, but I do just feel it would be handy if someone close to me was aware of what I'm going through at the minute. And she was great about it.
Oh, is this that thing that you told me?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but she's been really really good about it, which is great. Um, so something you do which you think you're wasting your time on.
No, I know I'm wasting my time on,
You know,
but it's not going to stop me doing it. I'm just,
uh,
you know,
I don't know. You waste your time on a lot of things.
when it comes to you specifically,
Well, yeah, that too. I don't know.
I recommend music to you.
Oh, do you? Oh, right.
Yeah, on occasion, I'll recommend a song to you that I'll think you'll like, won't I?
Well, you say you've wasted your time. It worked that one time.
But you know how I said it had one notable case where it was successful.
Yeah, that's right. You did. I forgot about
Okay, I literally I went in. Oh, I covered my fucking bases here,
that.
because you bring that up sometimes.
Yes, it's a great song, and it is right up my fucking street because it's about a
Yeah,
sad rich woman.
yeah. So basically, nowadays you could just listen to any of Madonna's soundtrack.
Yeah, it's a lady of a certain age by Divine Comedy.
Yes. And me reviewing a Divine Comedy song for Best Mistakes led to me getting invited to a gig that sadly I couldn't attend.
Oh wow.
So, remember that band Barbara who asked us
Yeah,
to review
vaguely.
their
Yeah.
thing? Yeah, well, I still follow them on Facebook, but with waiver sites.
Oh, I thought you meant a Divine
Divine
Comedy
Comedy gig.
gig.
Oh no, I wish. No, but with that Barbara band, I wrote a review. They saw it. They wanted me to review their stuff.
Yeah.
I did, and then I got invited to a gig.
My review of the true crime series Born to Kill was seen by the producer, and I maintained a short correspondence with him, and he sent me DVDs
Oh,
of the episodes, and they've got like, you know, if you like, not raw and edited footage, but you've got like the clock and sort of counts down
yeah.
before each part. Yeah, it's got that on it. Just because I could
Okay.
not, for the life of me, find them anywhere online, and I really wanted to watch them.
Oh, that's nice.
And he was kind
Did you have
of,
to send them back, or were they copies?
no, I've got them. They're down the stairs.
Oh,
It's not. He didn't send me the only recordings they had of it.
Well, no, but they might have sent you their personal ones with it on I for you to take copies of them,
No.
and then
It was very. Yeah, I asked him again what the music used in certain scenes was because it's such a great bit of music. And I can't remember.
I don't know. We got the sound guy to do that.
No, he told me. I think it's probably
Yeah, I'm
this.
taking the piss.
He was really nice.
I suppose are they notable for anything else by any chance?
I don't know. I don't even really know their name.
That probably explains it, doesn't it? Is that if the one thing that you've done that you've really properly done ended up being a major hit,
Yeah.
it can go one of two ways. You're resentful of the fact that no one remembers you for anything else,
Yeah.
or you're really pleased that someone fucking remembers you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's either Alec Guinness or Tom Baker, I suppose. Because Alec Guinness famously hated being in Star Wars and hated that was the thing he was known for. And Tom Baker has gone on record as saying that he is kind of fine with only being known as Doctor Who. Because he said he didn't rate himself as an actor. But when he was playing the Doctor, he was basically just playing himself, which is probably the right way to approach that role, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, I'd say so. I think I don't know for sure, but there was a Tom Baker credited with additional content for the latest Cunk TV show.
I can't. Oh, well, maybe. I doubt it.
I mean, he's been involved with comedy before, hasn't he? So it wouldn't be too far out there.
Voiceover for Little Britain.
Exactly. So it wouldn't be too out there for him to have been involved in that.
Common
but
enough
I don't know
name,
it was him. It's just a Tom Baker was involved.
He,
and because of the additional content thing, that implies a writing credit. And
he looks awfully frail these days, but I heard his voice not too long ago, and he still sounds exactly the same.
Yeah.
He won't.
He's not got long left.
No, I shouldn't think he'll see out the year. To be honest, bless him. But,
definitely not the decade.
No.
We can we quickly do the topic? It's vaguely sort of connected. The topic that I wrote down because I don't want to forget it.
Right, Tom Baker and anal. Okay, is it curry sauce all over your anus? Is that what this is?
Funnily enough, no, but
Delish.
God
bless him.
David Lynch has died.
Oh, fuck off!
No, that's when I got the notification come through. That's why I was
Oh
like, oh
shit,
fuck.
man.
I know.
You know, I thought it might have been something you only just heard. I didn't know whether it was something personal you remembered to do. That's fucking. It's been a hell of a week for dead celebrities.
Has it? I've not really noticed anyone of interest
Well,
apart
we've
from
had
them.
one of the Nolan sisters, and then some older
Didn't care.
actors. There was an older actress who was in Hollyoaks, a younger actor who was in Hollyoaks.
Didn't
Um,
care about either of them.
oh, David Lynch. Have you
David,
have you heard David Lynch's George Lucas story?
I have not.
So George Lucas was considering having David Lynch direct Empire Strikes Back,
Okay.
and
That would have
David
been a fucking trip.
and there's a clip. He was asked about this in an interview, and he describes the day, and he just keeps talking about what a terrible headache he had. It's like he showed me these things called Wookiees, and then he took him to a restaurant in his convertible, and the only thing they had on the menu was salad. And
Jesus.
it's just him talking about just a really confusing day for David Lynch. And every now and then he's like, I had such a bad headache. My headache just got worse and worse and worse.
See, I don't actually know if I've seen any David Lynch stuff. I probably have.
I haven't, although I do
I can't
mention.
think of anything off the top of my head.
Well, I do mention Twin Peaks in the most recent video I'm working on.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I've seen clips from Twin Peaks because that
yeah,
was a Kyle MacLachlan thing, wasn't it?
he did lots of stuff. He did oh shit. I'm not familiar
What?
with David Lynch's stuff either, unfortunately.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit. I think I'm going to get disconnected.
Hello, can you? Oh, you know you are.
I have been disconnected.
Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you. Yeah.
Lovely.
But yeah, Oscar-nominated David Lynch has died at 78.
He
It's a
did.
respectable enough age, isn't it?
Yeah, fair
As
enough. I wouldn't mind that. He did. It's that film with Kyle MacLachlan and what's his face on Gas,
I don't know.
where he finds an ear in the suburbs. I can't remember.
Honestly, don't know.
Oh god, it's sort of shameful. But we are
No,
sad to see him go because he was a
no,
character.
we're getting to that point where the old school directors are all going to
I
have left us, aren't they?
I remember an interview he did with Mark Commode,
Mm.
and I can't remember what the film he was talking about. Mark Commode was like espousing on a theory of lighting or something or color, and he went on this long like a minute solid. He was talking about this theory and how he was like, did you consider uh, you know how did you consider this theory or whatever? Was that part of your thinking when you were making the scene? He's talking and talking and talking, and then David Lynch just goes, "No."
Oh, entirely predictable based on the context of this conversation.
Yes.
But fucking funny still.
Uh,
But no, goodbye, David Lynch.
yeah. Sorry, we don't know any more of your work.
Well, there's so many directors out there, isn't there? But
Well,
we
for
can't do it all.
two people who enjoy watching film, we're not very knowledgeable about film. I think really we're more pop cultural people, really.
There's a difference between knowing it and enjoying it, right? You can enjoy something
Yeah.
without knowing about it. And we're intelligent enough and competent enough to talk about the stuff we have seen.
Yeah.
What we do is we're also intelligent enough to know to not talk about stuff we haven't seen.
Yeah.
To not offer an opinion on something we don't know enough about. And I think that's important. That's a missing skill in this planet at the moment.
Yes.
Probably not just for the moment, but
Yeah.
so more people need to know when to not talk.
It's about knowing how little you know,
Mm.
and we're
The
all
only thing I know is that I know nothing.
yes, we are all astoundingly ignorant in our own way.
Some more than others, of course.
Yeah.
Nudge, nudge.
Wink, wink. Say no more.
Suits you, sir.
Yes. Mm.
Yeah. So, shall we do the big story?
What is the big story? See, I've
Don't know.
my week
Hopefully, you had a big story.
my week has been pretty rough. So
Yeah, so you
I've
said.
been sort of out of it for a lot of it. I managed to scrape together some topics. So is there no
Right.
big story? You were just fishing?
Well, I mean, the biggest story I would say is probably the Gaza ceasefire,
Yeah.
which is obviously welcome news.
Biden has delivered his final address to the nation, his goodbye
Yeah.
address, and mentioned apparently that we need to be aware of a growing oligarchy in this country, as though he wasn't in power for the last 4 years and might have been able to curtail that in some way.
In this country, meaning his country, not our country,
Yeah, he wasn't like the
because
UK
we
is
are
totally fucked.
because you said in this country. I just want to clarify that we are UK citizens, so he was referring to the United States. For the benefit of the tape,
Actually, I think I'm an Irish citizen. I actually don't know what my citizenship is because I've got an Irish passport. Maybe I'm
you
dual.
probably got dual.
I don't know. I don't know. But it means if there's ever a war, I'm not getting drafted. That and my mental health issues. If they're giving me a
I
gun,
mean, I wouldn't give you a fucking gun.
if they're giving me a gun, the war's already fucked by that point.
If they've given you a gun, I'm saying as far fucking away from you as possible, because what you'll do is, for the sake of spiting me, you'll shoot me and then yourself, so I do die first.
No.
Yes, you will. I'm
No.
not stupid.
I need you alive.
You need me alive. Am I the only thing keeping you going? Ben?
No.
Is that what it is? Is that what you're about to tell me? Because I've heard that you've got a friend coming over for dinner.
If I on my writing project, when I die, I'm giving you that as one of
Thanks.
many. You'll get to read all the books and my memoirs in which you are discussed.
I mean, Christ, if you fucking put them for sale properly, I'll buy them.
And that way you can't be angry at all the terrible things I've written about you.
I can absolutely be angry about the terrible things you've written about me. I'll just have to at least pretend that I'm not. Oh, isn't it nice that he wrote about me? Whereas I'm talking about you being. I mean, literally the last time I spoke about you to someone else, it was along the lines of, I honestly think that if he has another sad episode, he'll want me to fuck him.
I know you said.
I know, but I'm saying it again for the benefit of the tape.
It was on tape the first time. Maybe.
I know, I'm saying it again for the benefit of the tape.
I am going through a difficult period at the minute, and frankly, I do think if, there's not much in it, me just sort of collapsing into drink and hardcore depression and cheap flings with overweight men on Grinder.
Yeah.
So I've got to be wary of that. Thank God I've got therapy tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it sounds like you need it. I thought that was getting pushed because you had your.
It was pushed to today. Well, okay. Last week it was scheduled. He pushed it back because something urgent came up.
Okay.
My friend is coming over tomorrow, but at 1:30, and my therapy is usually at 10. So I can go to my therapy, come back, clean a little bit more of the house. He won't need it spotless.
Oh, he?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Look
then
at you having other male friends.
yeah,
What's his name?
Lars.
Are you permitted to talk to him? I don't remember approving this.
Excuse me, you and your lads. Your little fucking friendship bukkake or whatever the
Actually,
fuck
that's
is
a
going
point. That's a point. I want to broach this subject for you.
Yeah.
And I want to broach it in a way that I'm hoping won't upset you.
Oh,
but
no.
I want to do it now because you're less likely to fly off the handle.
Oh no.
Earlier this week, you said to me that you feel like you're more invested in our friendship than I am.
Yeah.
And I realised after the fact, I didn't really know how to respond to that at the time, but I realised after the fact that that's probably because I have more friends.
Yeah.
I as much as I like having you as a friend, if I lose you as a friend, I've still got quite a few friends.
Yeah.
So I am naturally less invested in it because I have less to lose if it ends.
That's sad.
But I mean, it is sad. But like, this is one of a few friendships that I choose to actively develop.
Yeah.
With things like this,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do this sort of thing. I did try and do something like this with the lads. It didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened for a few times. There's a video on YouTube. It's fucking awful.
Well, I do need more friends, but I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah, well,
It occurred to me. Do you know why I sent you that message a little while ago saying I had the epiphany about friends? That I needed more.
Oh, why?
What?
Why did you have that?
Well,
Why did you say that?
well, okay. So I know it seemed very flippant and obvious at the time, but my real epiphany was that if I lived in Spalding,
Doxing me again.
sorry, if I lived in insert town name here, if I lived near you or near my other friend, we'd probably and I was in the state of mind I am now, we'd probably end up going out and doing stuff.
Yeah, but I want to know what kind of stuff you're thinking of doing.
I don't know, dogging. I don't know.
Oh, I know all the good spots, but you'd expect me to drive.
Of course I would. I can't drive.
You don't want to get in a car with me, I'll tell you that.
Well,
I put the music up.
But we would be going out, and I'd probably meet people, right?
Okay.
which would
That week when I mean I hate to cut across. That week when we're when I might come and see you on the Fridays if all goes well.
yeah,
Are we going out for lunch or something?
if you treat me.
I mean, you have a job as well, Ben.
All right, fine, we'll go for lunch. Jesus. Um,
Well, no, because then I can actually drive you to a place if need be, and you can
yeah,
experience my driving for real.
okay then.
Oh, you can get a full Jordan experience.
But yes, it occurred to me that I'd meet people, and I'd probably, there's a good chance I'd have a relationship, and you can argue whether that's true or not. But the fact I thought it at all, I think, demonstrates a degree of growth on my part.
I would say so. Yeah.
Because now it demonstrated a degree of confidence as well.
Okay.
Because essentially, in that moment, I acknowledged that my real issue is the fact I'm not meeting people.
Yeah.
Because
that is most people's issue, really.
well, yes, I mean, it's not that difficult. Lots of people do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Generally speaking, it's how most people do it these days.
Yeah, but most people, go out meet someone, and something forms from that.
That's how I ended up in my current relationship, and arguably that's how I ended up in the one before that.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we both went to the same college is kind of how the one before the current one
Yeah.
happened. But it doesn't change the fact that that's how it happened. Is we met organically, and an organic meeting is much better than an online dating meet.
Yes.
I hate to be old man about it, but it really is. I was having this exact conversation with a colleague earlier, the one who I'd mentioned that you were on that dating website.
Yeah.
And they were like, "What, that one?" And someone else was like, "Yeah, they've got one. They've got one."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, well, it's on there." And then I think he's one depressive episode away from blah 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 blah.
Yeah, yes. So that was a really important moment for me. Realizing that, because it's a demonstration that I am worthy of being found romantically attractive, and I am.
And the key thing is that you believe that.
Well, yeah, but
no, it's true. It's not what anyone else thinks about it. The key thing is that you believe that you are worthy and capable.
But it's true. It's true.
I know. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying that the challenge is you believing it.
Well, yes, all right, yes.
That's what. Jesus, you're trying to make it sound like a fucking. The battle is getting it right in your head first.
Yes,
and you can develop it, right?
And
so you can do something about it.
And you meet people through people. The wider my social circle is, the better my chances are. And even if I don't, it's just good to get out and socialize and meet new people, because I don't have any friends where I live.
Yeah.
And it was a real moment. I mean, I know I've talked about flirting with religion before.
Oh God, don't go to church.
But it did sort of.
Don't get yourself a church girl. Read her Bible.
I was actually looking at churches.
Please don't do that.
But it did.
You're better than that.
It did feel like divine knowledge.
Oh, okay.
It felt like, God had sort of struck me in that moment.
Struck you across the face and said, "Bitch, go out."
Yes.
Touch grass.
Yeah. Yes.
What you need is a dog.
No.
No, but you see why I say it, though.
Yeah, because it would get me out meeting people. It's a talking point, and I've got a friend at home that I can have sex with.
Yeah, exactly. Get some peanut butter. Jobs are good. Blowjobs for days. Maybe not blowjobs, but. Anywho,
we do not sanction bestiality in any form.
No, we don't. Even as a joke. It's only acceptable as a joke, and you shouldn't do it even then. Really.
Speaking of threats to monetization.
Oh God, what's happened?
I mentioned that before we start recording, that I'm making my new video and I'm doing it a piece at a time. Yes. And every time I finish a piece, I sort of schedule it on YouTube or put it as unlisted to check whether there's any copyright issues.
Okay.
And today I put I finished the second part outside the introduction, right? So I'm basically about halfway through.
Have you not been working?
No. I had toil because I've been working late on various things.
Oh, okay.
So I used that. But anyway, I put this on YouTube, and it said that it when they did the checks for monetization for ads, it said that it was sort of blocked by certain ads or just blocked entirely. It was like the midpoint, It may be acceptable, may not. And this concerned me because I have been concerned about using clips and getting copyright claim for that. But when you get copyright claim for a clip, it tells you what the clip is, and you can edit it. You can take it back and edit it, and sort it out and put it
Yeah,
back up, and
I
hopefully
had
it won't
that
get
issue
picked
with
up.
the F1 stuff,
Yeah,
and it's basically why I gave up on it. Is
yeah.
it was so much fucking faff sorting it out. I couldn't be asked.
But there was no recommended clip, and I realised pretty quickly what it was. Because my
Okay.
new video is about Soap's first trans character in Coronation Street, Amy
Oh,
Cropper.
okay. Yeah.
And there are frequent quotes where the word transsexual is used, right?
Okay.
Because that it,
God forbid you use the phrase. So.
yeah, because it was the phrase is it's not even, I don't know whether it's considered offensive now or whether it's just considered not as accurate as transgender, which I think is probably the case. But I'm pretty sure that was
Probably.
what it was. So I had to send it off for manual review, and mercifully it came back and ads are now allowed on that part, so we should be fine. But I when I started making this video, I suspected this would be an issue. Um, I
I
mean,
think the real issue you're going to have is that you're gonna alienate all your Gammon fan base. Not
yeah,
all your fan base, all your Gammon fan base.
that's another thing I'm
And
concerned about. I'm
I've
good,
got sound issue again. What's going on here? So,
but I'm fine. I did have a panic because
right.
you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear.
I did have a panic because the actress's name is Julie Hesmondhalgh, but
Mhm.
it's spelt Hesmondalgh.
Okay.
So it's not entirely clear how you pronounce it, and I've been pronouncing it Hesmondhalgh. So I had a
Okay.
moment where I just double checked because you know what they're like. They'd be fucking all over that, and
Very
I
well.
I am right, but I would get comments saying if you can't pronounce the actress's name correctly, why should I bother? It's like
Well, ideally, they shouldn't bother.
fuck
Just fucking
you.
pay attention. Job's done, right?
Yeah, it's like I put so much fucking effort into these videos,
Yep.
and I get some fucking twat going every now and then. Someone will go, it's pronounced it's actually called Beckindale, not Beckindale. And it's like fuck you.
Let's all laugh at an industry that never learns anything. You had a vaguely artsy vibe going on there,
I do have a
and
thing.
it reminded me that they've actually released they've got a merch store now.
Yeah, they need to raise that money, don't they? Because they're with Second Wind now. They're doing it themselves rather than with the
Yeah.
Escapist.
What caught my attention about this is there's a T-shirt of that, so I've bookmarked that to grab when I've got paid because I
Yeah,
can't justify it just yet.
yeah.
It's only $30, but it's $30 more than I can justify right now for something as frivolous as a
$30.
T-shirt.
Yeah, that's
I
a
know, I know.
clothes are not cheap, are they? Fucking hell, that's annoying.
No, like there's not many things where I'll support with merch
Yeah.
purchases. That's one of them, right? Because I do
Mm,
appreciate the content. I enjoy it across the board. Um,
yeah.
but what really caught my attention, other than the fact that they've got that, is that they are selling through DFTBA.
Yeah.
Are you familiar what DFTBA is?
No.
It's Don't Forget to Be Awesome,
Right.
the John and Hank Green platform.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I saw that and I thought, hang on a minute, and I double checked, and it's the same the same thing.
I
Co-founded by or co-owned by John and Hank Green. So
I mean, you can tell they're raising money themselves because Yahtzee has to do fairly
ad reads.
unenthusiastically ad reads,
Yeah,
which you
it's
can clearly
depressing, isn't
tell he's a bit uncomfortable with. He's like, don't forget to subscribe
it?
for
Yeah,
content.
but that's the thing. What have happened is that I've had a massive boost right when it happened, and now that it's been a year or so,
Yeah.
things are starting to die down a bit, and
Yeah.
that's how it goes, right? A lot of projects, if they make it even to a year, die out afterwards, right?
Yeah.
It's a miracle we're going as long as we've been going.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we're not even making any money.
Exactly. So we're
We're
doing it for the love of a
we're
craft,
like
bitches.
300 odd video. I want to say we're close enough to. Actually, how many videos do we have? I feel like it's like 370 or 311.
I don't know. It's a lot, and there's more every week, bitches.
Yeah, three.
So
Well,
why
four
don't
every
you like,
4 a week.
share? Well, at the moment, yeah. Why
Yeah.
don't you like, share, subscribe, ring that bell, and if you feel like it, send us some sort of monetary donation. Don't ask us how, just do it.
358 vids, 60 subscribers.
Yeah, I was about to say that we've hit 60. I've been meaning to mention that we've been getting steadily more and more lately, because I remember how big a deal I was making about the fact that we couldn't quite hit 50.
Hmm.
We kept flirting with 50, and then all of a sudden we're up to 60 now.
Hmm.
I think Star Wars has had an involvement in it, but it hasn't been
Possibly.
obvious because we've not seen who the recent subscribers are, apart from that one who left a comment. Please leave more comments. Tell us what you want us to play. I can't guarantee we'll do it, but we'll at least talk about it, and then explain why we won't.
Yeah, we will. We are. It's a guarantee that if you comment, we will respond to it.
We have time. I mean, Christ, that'd make up half of Ben's list if you did
Yeah.
that.
I mean, to put it in context, my other channel, my proper channel, has 11 videos and 2.35 thousand subscribers.
Yeah, but you're giving information, and we're just changing.
Well, yeah, I actually put effort into those.
It's a whole different. It's a whole different audience.
Yeah.
Whole different vibe.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm.
If we did an actual fucking, these are the top 10 best power wash simulate videos. Not videos.
Levels.
Cleaning maps, whatever.
Yeah.
Guarantee we'd get stuff out of that. I mean, look at my Project Onboard video.
Yeah.
That made gangbusters for us.
Yeah. I mean,
basically overnight.
There's so many Let's Plays out there. So fucking many things like this. I like to think that our personalities carry the day.
We ain't got personality. The closest thing we've got to a personality is that we act like we hate each other.
We're just two guys.
And it's only half acting.
We're just two guys chilling out. You can stick us on in the background. We may or may not have sex at some point.
It won't happen, but let him dream. Right?
Or will it? I don't know. You'll have to keep watching, won't you?
Won't they?
Subscribe and find out.
We're not on video, Jesus.
Subscribe to our Patreon and find out.
We do have a Patreon, and we really ought to do something with it.
Well, I have a Patreon, and mine's not very good on my main one. I need to.
What it is I don't have time.
Well, nobody gives a
to
shit,
do that and my other shit.
Nobody's going to give us money for these.
No, well, you say that, but I mean, I was getting money from the other thing, wasn't I?
Well, yeah, but you were good at that.
Oh, yeah, fair point.
You put effort into
Damn
it.
good at that.
You put effort into it, didn't you?
Most of the time, yeah.
And they were all horny, so that helps.
Well, yeah, sex sells, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I swear I should have got into that while COVID was kicking off, and I'd have probably got a house by now.
Honestly,
it's not how I'd want to get it, but
my appreciation for your dealing with arseholes has increased tremendously since various people have been.
Yeah, because you used to bitch at me about it, didn't you?
I know. I still sometimes think, you should probably get back into that.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I toyed with it briefly, but no, I've announced my official retirement. Someone messaged me earlier this week and was like, "Hey, can I get some done?" I was like, "No, I'm retired. I'm out of the game." I'm tempted to see if I can. My issue is that I kind of want to get rid of the subreddit, but you can't delete a subreddit.
Can you not?
You can't delete it.
Can only Reddit themselves do that?
Well, I asked them to do it, and they refused to do it. I was like, "Look, here's the situation. Here's the why." They're like, "Oh, we'll just give it to someone else. Let someone else mod it." I'm like, "No, that defeats the fucking point." It's NSFW content. You'd think, given there's probably all sorts of copyright infringement going on there. You'd think they'd be all for it. I suppose no, because it's adapting a medium into a different, ever so slightly different medium for the
fair
use. Additional, yeah, it's all of the fair use, almost certainly.
You've had a transformative effect on it.
Yeah,
which is sort of my excuse.
I'll probably get
that. Most of my clips are muted. You're not getting the. My argument would be you're not getting the full, Coronation Street experience by watching one of my videos. It's not the same as actually watching an episode of Coronation Street.
But you might get the full wanking experience by reading one of my captions. Yeah. They're that good. You don't even have to touch yourself sometimes.
That's a boast.
I know, right? It's not entirely true either. Unless it's one of those hands-free orgasm instruction ones. But I don't really trust the idea of a hands-free orgasm because, you're still sort of using your hands sometimes. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? My board game's coming along nicely.
Is it really?
I reckon I've got about 2 hours worth of work on it, all of it card writing, and then it'll be ready to play. But then I realised I've got one fundamental issue here.
Don't have any dice.
No, I've got dice. I've got dice coming out the arse at this point, which is
Is
not.
Is that one of the challenges on a card? Is it? Yeah,
you've accidentally had a dice fall out of your bottom. Roll again.
With your bottom.
Well, yeah.
It's a sexy game, is it?
It's not a sort of game where you actually have to do sexy things. It's just sexy themed.
Okay.
So it's basically okay. So I'm going to explain the premise to you now.
Right.
Are you familiar with the term edge? the sex term edge
Yes.
or edging.
It's the act of
Why do you?
staving off an orgasm in order to achieve greater pleasure further down the line.
Okay, so the gist of the game is
See, I do
you go around the
listen.
board.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You go around the board. You collect edges, as it were,
Fuck off.
from
Yeah.
each of the corners.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you go back to the home space
Yeah.
and trade them in for an orgasm, first person to 3 orgasms wins. So you
Okay.
end up having to get 9 edges, 3 orgasms total, and then yeah, they're the winner. But along the way, you can end up in horny jail
Okay. So
because you got to
it's like Monopoly meets Trivial Pursuit.
sort of basically. But you only go clockwise unless you go to the middle, in which case you can
More like
work.
cockwise.
Well, yeah. Yeah, you get pick up. You can pick up cards that you can use. There's action cards and item cards. For example, an example of an item card would be the. Let me find an actual example of one that I've wrote down because I've got the exact wording on it, so you can. You can critique the way I've written it because I know that's how you roll. I can't find the pictures. Where are the pictures? They're over here, aren't they? See you all. Not that one.
Hasbro will fucking
Yeah.
snap
So
this up.
I've got an item card called Withdraw Consent. Block an item at the point of use, or remove a status after the item has passed.
Right.
So it's basically like you can stop someone using an item on you that would hinder your ability to play.
Oh.
And I've gone with Withdraw Consent because it's all sex themed. It's all There's one. There's the safe word card,
Yeah.
right? Which I've tried to use tastefully because safe wording isn't really like a fucking joke. It's a serious thing.
Yes.
But the gist of it is what happens is everyone's already accumulated edges get put back. Everyone goes back to home.
That sounds like. Yeah.
Hang on, I'm not finished. Everyone goes back to home. All the items people have got have been put back, and the items shuffle, or all the other piles of cards shuffle, and basically it resets the game. But the only thing that doesn't change is the amount of orgasms that people have already earned.
Okay.
So you can't undo an orgasm, right?
Yeah.
But it basically resets play.
How easy is it to get an edge?
You've just got to get to the corner.
Okay.
It's not overly difficult. In theory, you could win the game by going around the board 3 times.
Right. Okay.
In theory, if you landed on the spaces, you could go around the board 3 times.
Well, you just want to make sure it's properly balanced, and the only way to really do that is to test it.
Exactly, and that's where I've got the issue. Is that it's at its heart, it's a 4-player game, but that requires 4 adults that are reliably available to play it, and ideally not me, because then if I need to do any rule tweaking, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't bias in my favour in the moment, right?
Mm.
It's not the sort of, I'd rather observe other people play it.
I'd do it,
and then tweak any rules accordingly based on their experience of it, rather than base it on what my experience of playing it is. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I need 4 people really.
Well, sign me up. Availability pending.
Well, exactly. That's the. So yeah, I need to get that finished. I've got, like I say, I've got about 50 odd cards left to write out, and some of them are just point cards. Like the edges are gonna have. There's gonna be a card per edge. Yeah. There's gonna be a card per orgasm. So I need to make enough for everyone to have 1 each of the edge cards, and then 2 each of the orgasm cards with 1 extra one.
Mm.
Because if it's a 4-player game, that's a total of 9 required possible orgasms, right?
Mm.
So I did the maths on this shit. I've taken this really seriously. This is
good. What do you hope to accomplish with it?
I don't know. Maybe if it ends up being fun, I might see about
sell it on Etsy.
Further developing. Well, yeah, or maybe even going a bit to a higher power.
Hasbro.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what they did with Wicked.
Wicked. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I talked about that time we talked. Oh my god, that reminded me about another topic that I've been meaning to put down.
All right, go on then.
So I don't know if I did write it down. Okay, so the Cynthia Erivo, is it?
No, what are you talking about?
From the woman from.
Oh, her. Yes.
In Wicked. The one who went a bit crazy when it comes to the fan stuff.
Yeah.
I've realised something. Two things that I've realised many a time over the last few weeks that I keep meaning to mention.
Yeah.
Part of a Defying Gravity song references her character's delusions of grandeur.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, okay. So you get where I'm going with that one. But also, isn't Elphaba ultimately the villain in the Wizard of Oz story?
Yeah.
So is it sort of on brand, which is a bit of a twat?
Well, we talked about this at the time. I originally thought it was
I
like a
know.
race thing, but it's just like a weird. You're covering up my face, and she didn't really appreciate that the fan edit was to make it look like the theatre poster.
Yeah, it wasn't about
Mm.
her, it was about the product, right?
Well,
At the end
speaking
of
of
the day.
people who might be a bit difficult, you heard about Macy Gray?
No, I haven't.
You familiar with Macy Gray?
Vaguely,
He
probably.
sang "I Try" the song. No,
Okay.
you know the song.
No.
It's
Not off the top of my head, but I know a lot of music. It's
yeah,
hard to remember it all.
I try to say goodbye, but I choke. Try to walk
On
away, but
what?
I stumble. That one? No.
Anyway.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't come to mind. I'm
No.
sure if I heard the actual version of it, it might be more.
Well, she was on The Masked Singer.
Was she really?
Yes.
UK?
Yes, she was.
Spoilers.
Yeah, she was unmasked and was very very pissed off and flounced off, and came back an hour later and answered questions with one word answers, and was not pleased about it.
What about being voted off?
Yeah.
Effectively.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah, it's
you
just
know.
just the reaction to it. It reminds me of Liz Truss's reaction to losing her seat, because I know someone
You're in a
who
privileged position there.
What?
You're in a privileged position in
What?
terms of information, aren't you?
Yeah, I know someone who knows someone who was at the count, and she sat in her car for an hour and refused to come in.
I've got a Liz Truss topic actually.
She is popping up with alarming frequency in our videos.
Well, no, but there's a reason why she's coming up this week.
Is she suing somebody, or was that last week?
No, it is this week. I think in that she reckons that Keir Starmer claiming or saying that she crashed the economy is damaging to her reputation.
I think we did that last
So
time.
I don't remember us doing that, but
We did, because we spoke about Liz Truss at length, and that was the thing that ticked it off. And we spoke about her legacy already being.
oh, okay, fair
Damn it.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think maybe because maybe it happened last Thursday or something. Then
Yeah, I do feel like
there was a PMQ's mention about it today.
Yeah.
So, and this would be the first PMQ since it happened. So I suppose that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just I do feel like it is ridiculous, isn't it?
Mm.
I know we must have touched on it before. I must have already said these things.
We've talked about her at length. Watch the Battlefront 2 video we did last week.
I was on that one, was it?
Yeah, I was in Felucia.
You were getting fellatio?
No, I was in Felucia.
You wish you were getting fellatio off Ayla Secura.
No, I don't.
All the clones certainly did.
Why'd you have to do that? Why'd you have to?
I've seen the bloody memes.
Mm.
And also, if it's Felucia, you can't not do a fellatio joke.
Mm.
You kind of got to. You know. Got all those lecker, you might as well do something with them. How are you getting on with this cleaning? Because I feel like we've not made as much progress as I was expecting to.
I don't know. About as well as I usually do.
Oh,
We used to think I think it's all right, but I don't think you've almost certainly made a lot more progress than me.
Yeah, well, I'm good at this, haven't I? I've got more experience in the cleaning department.
And it's a big map.
I decided I have a business idea. If I had £1 million, I know what business I would go into.
If you had £1 million, you'd still work. Okay.
Well, no, I'd start a business. I wouldn't necessarily do the actual work, but I'd start a business.
Go on. What is it?
I'd open a coffee shop.
Would you?
Yeah, I think I'd open a coffee shop.
If there's one thing this world is lacking,
simple.
It's coffee shops.
I would keep it simple.
Yeah.
You've got coffee, you've got tea. Job done.
I think what you're describing there is a cafe.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, to be fair.
Or a cafe. Minus the food.
But
it's a shit
the
cafe.
point is, well, no, but it's a basic cafe. Nice and cheap. You know, no stress, no dramas. But the thing is, right, there'd be a sit-in and there'd be a takeaway. But the takeaway part would be through like a window, like a drive-through style window.
Yeah.
But you walk. It's a walk-through rather than a drive-through. Where you would queue outside separately to the sit-in people, so that they've got two separate different queues. And the idea there is that one would assume that there would be quite a lot of takeaway customers,
Yeah.
and them queuing down the street would imply that the coffee must therefore be quite good.
I think this is something.
Psychology trick.
This is something P.T. Barnum sort of did. When P.T. Barnum paid people to like stand in a line outside his circus, and people were like, God, this must be good if people are queuing up.
Yeah, well, they'd be paying me to queue up.
Mm.
And also, the first, I don't know, 50 coffees in the first 50 sales in the morning, if they keep the receipt, which one would hope would have a transaction number on it,
Yeah.
date and transaction number, kind of hinges on those two details. If they come back the next day, they get a free purchase, like a free coffee again.
All right. So.
But, and then if they're in the top 50 again, arbitrarily picked number, then with that transaction, holy shit, they can come back the next day and get a free coffee. But it's only valid for that one day. So
So if you
it's
buy,
those, you got to keep coming back.
So just the free coffee presumably doesn't. If you go buy a coffee one day, free coffee. Come back the next day, get your free coffee. Does that therefore entitle you to a free coffee the day after?
No.
Good.
So if you're in the first 50 people on that first day,
yeah,
you are entitled to a free coffee the next day.
Yeah.
Regardless of what time you turn up. If you're in the first 50 people the second day, you're entitled to a free coffee the third day.
You have to buy though.
Well, you have to buy the first one.
Okay, so I could pretend. Okay.
If you are the first 50 people for 100 days in a row, you've paid for one coffee and you've got 100 coffees to have.
Okay, what if I'm a guy going on my morning commute, just want a coffee, and now I've basically taken you for a shit ton of money?
Because that's fine, because the idea of this is that it'll encourage people to try and be in those early people, right? You'll get people who are keen to be there, and you'll get people who just miss out and maybe I'll come earlier next time, and then they'll sort of make each other have to pay.
I feel like the bulk of your 50 after a while is going to remain the same.
Okay, yeah, but like maybe 50 is just a random number. It'd probably be closer to 100, I reckon.
Yeah, I guess.
Because then I should feel like you're probably getting the normal morning commute. Let's assume you open at like 6 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
The first, God knows how many, are going to be really early in the morning. People that aren't necessarily, But after that, you're going to start getting the regular, in average, normal people that turn up for coffee or a tea, as you prefer, and get the thing. It's a thing. It's a gimmick, isn't it? It's a rewarding loyal customers.
Yeah.
Who keep coming.
But they're not customers.
Well, I mean, no, but they're coming back.
The issue is
they're coming to you.
You're only selling tea and coffee, right? If you give it for free, and I've come the first day and I'm number one, and I'm to hang on, I continue to be number one. You only sell tea and coffee. What? There's nothing else for me to purchase, so I'm just getting freebies for the rest of time.
Maybe you do biscuits or something. I don't know. But the point, it's a reward, isn't it? It's a thing. It inspires a level of loyalty.
Yeah.
If they're coming to you instead of going to someone else, that someone else is going to lose out.
Well, you're losing out.
Even if it's just about one. Yeah, but I can afford to lose out. I've started this with £1 million.
Businesses aren't. I'm sorry to destroy your dream like this, but businesses are expensive. You got to pay your workers. £1 million is only going to get you so far, especially if you're giving away stock willy nilly. You're probably not.
Do you know how much it takes to start up a coffee shop?
100 grand. I don't know.
Apparently, in this country, realistically, anywhere between 20 and 100,000. It's a lot less than $1 million.
Well, if I had $1 million, do you know what I'd do?
Well, I'd buy a house first.
I would probably do my life would probably be much the same as it is now, except with better holidays.
Boring. There's another thing I'd want to do in this coffee shop.
What?
I would want to I'd want to have a room, like a rentable room there, where you get your you get your tea and your coffee, but it's designed for meetings, specifically for meetings. So if you've got interviews or if you've got business meetings or private conversations that you want to have, you book for private room, the private coffee room. Maybe you do like a refill deal or something.
That's not a bad idea. That bit. That's a good idea, I think.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, I
And of course, as an extra gimmick, we accidentally hired all barristers by mistake.
very funny.
No, I actually got pissy with someone. I said, I mentioned this. We were having to talk about this at work because coffee's more complicated than it needs. And it's either coffee or it ain't, right? I don't care about your mockers or your
You're so
cappuccinos or
old.
I know this is part of the conversation. You know, why do they have to make it complicated? Just coffee or not coffee, you know? But anyway, we were talking about this, and I said, knowing my look, I'd accidentally hire a barrister. And someone's like, well, what you should do is you just have an all barristers and get them to wear wigs and have gavels and all that. It's like, you're not taking this seriously at all, are you?
Hmm.
They weren't taking it seriously at all.
Well,
This absolutely arbitrary thing. I was saying that I asked a colleague if they would work at my cafe, and they said no. And I said, "Oh, that's fine because Ben would probably do it."
no.
Well, I see how it is.
I mean, it might be like no. I think no, no.
You wouldn't go into business with me as a cafe owner.
As a cafe owner, no,
Oh,
no.
you wouldn't
Sorry.
even help own it. Oh
No.
wow, I see how it is. Here I was thinking you were some loyal friend, but actually you're just another user.
Yep.
Well, no free coffee for you unless you're in the first 100 people,
This is your dream.
50 people. Man,
I'm going to be
and then with
101st
franchise.
and be a huge arsehole about it. Be like, what are you talking
Oh,
about?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You're the 101st customer. Look, it's on your receipt and everything.
That's impossible. I was here at the crack of dawn.
Leave Dawn alone, you. And the key thing is that it is next day, so they do have to come back. And you'll get people who don't keep the receipt or people who don't want the receipt, and you'll make a point of saying, if you're in the first 100 people, get free coffee tomorrow if you come back again. Because they just have to come back. They don't have to come back in the morning. They can come back whenever they want, and they get free coffee the next day. We will reward you for coming back to us, specifically to us. And you give people their milk options and all that kind of shit. But it's just coffee. Let them do decaf because people like decaf because they're fucking stupid. You know. People like Coldplay and vote for the Nazis. You know.
Well,
You there?
yes,
Oh,
I was
you let me ramble.
just sort of letting you go on your little rant.
Yeah, nearly fucking did, mate, didn't I? Nearly fucking did.
You did, didn't you?
Loyalty is a very important thing when it comes to business. You want to be the people that they come back to. And sometimes it is worth paying a slightly extra price for the loyalty than it is new faces every day. That's my stance on it. It should be about the people, and hence the express queue and the to-go queue and the inside queue.
Yeah.
You can handle two completely different levels of service. You can have a chatty, friendly, get to know you because you're staying for a little while kind of experience, or you can have look if you're in a rush, if you're gonna go, that's fine.
Have you got an F1 topic today?
I do actually. It's only a short one though.
Right, because I was sort of saving.
You'd rather that, would you?
I was sort of saving my boredom for that, and I sort of don't want to peak. If you're prattling on about your fantasy coffee shop,
honestly,
I think
I reckon I could do gangbusters.
Your point has been well and truly made.
Yes. Well, do you know what we'd call it?
Cupper. Fancy a cupper. Cupper feel. What? Copperphilia.
No, I don't know what I'd call it because it's you gotta come up with something simple. And I'll be honest with you, I don't want to overdo it. So no, I don't know yet either. Ha! I'm still struggling with a name for me board game. I've got a name. I feel like I could do better.
What's the name?
Morgasm.
No. Well,
yeah.
What
is
the more element of it?
Well, you're trying to get more, aren't you? Trying to have more of them. It was originally going to be 4gasm because it's a 4-player game, but then that defeats the idea of it being, you can have less than 4 players. You can have more than 4 players, really, but you've got to, you'll have to tweak the rules a little bit. So if it's a 2-player game, you play to 5 orgasms. Mm.
There's a 1-player game. You can give yourself all the orgasms you want.
Yeah, with as much or as little edging as you want.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
I always recommend at least one, just for fun. That's Dr. Jordan, sex psychiatrist.
My
Doctorate may not be existing. I had a breakthrough with therapy this week.
Oh yes, how did therapy go? Did you have a
Well, I had a
breakthrough?
breakthrough.
What was
I think
it?
I had a breakthrough.
Okay.
Well, you didn't necessarily help as much as I was hopeful you would.
What do you
But
mean?
that's fine because we went into it without you knowing anything. It would be unfair for me to hold you to any sort of standard on it.
I was having a rough week. My thoughts were elsewhere. I'm sorry.
You weren't necessarily having a rough week on Monday night.
Yes, I was.
Oh, well, I said you weren't necessarily having a rough week on Monday night. It's a bit early to write the whole week off, really, at that point, isn't it?
Well,
You know.
anyway.
People say people don't write the week off on a Monday, but really, you got to wait. You got to at least wait till Tuesday lunchtime.
Go on then. What was your breakthrough?
Bare minimum.
Okay.
I've realised that I've been getting a bit negative about myself because of a belief that I'm not doing enough. I'm doing what needs to be done, but I don't necessarily go far beyond the requirement. And I realise that I've been beating myself up on the assumption that I'm doing the bare minimum. But I don't do the bare minimum. But it's a phrase that was ingrained in me. It was an accusation that was levied at me a lot growing up. Was that I was doing the bare minimum all the time.
Well,
so I hence my asking if you feel like I do the bare minimum when it comes to our thingy. I've been informed by the various people that I have asked that I am not doing the bare minimum when it comes to my son, to my work, or my relationship. And they are the 3 most important things outside of our friendship, and in many ways much more important than friendship.
Yeah. Loath though I am to admit it, possibly. I mean, son, obviously, partner, yeah, fair enough. Job, yeah, I don't pay you enough.
That allows me to. You don't pay me anything.
Well,
pay me an abuse, and I don't even get off to that anymore. I mean,
reviews coming up.
Yeah, well, I actually had a meeting at work today. It wasn't a review; it was an annual catch up.
Yeah.
Where my performance wasn't discussed at all. So,
all right.
You know, it wasn't a review, which is very surprising to me. Anyway, yeah, the idea that I'm doing a bare minimum was an accusation that was levied at me.
Well,
and I've decided no, I'm not doing a bare minimum, and I need to cut myself some fucking slack.
If it makes you feel any better, I don't think you're doing the bare minimum with our friendship. I just think there are times when
you're more invested.
Yeah.
But we talked about that earlier, didn't
we? And
there's a justified reason behind it.
Yeah, it's legitimate. I mean, I don't like hearing it, but if I had other friends outside of you, yeah,
you wouldn't be as invested in making sure that this friendship is going.
Yeah,
like I'm invested in this friendship, just not as much as you are.
I mean, we like each other a lot.
If you say so,
we do. I've got my uni friend, but that's really more one of those friendships where we talk like every now and then, but we're still friends, you know. But you and I talk. Maybe not every day, but most days, a good chunk of the time.
At least half a week we have.
Yeah, I don't think rare is it that a week will go by where you haven't sent me a message over Discord and I haven't considered ignoring it.
Yeah. So if anything, I'm more invested than you are. By your own admission.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll send you shit and you'll be like, all those song recommendations that you tell me you listen to.
I do. I just don't like them.
Yeah, that's fine.
There's a waterfall over there. We best not chase it.
All right, TLC, calm the fuck down.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Oh, is that a song you like by any chance?
Yeah.
Are you going to stick to the rivers and the streams that you used to?
Like a salmon?
Oh, I guess so.
We done yet?
We've only done 61% of it.
Where's the rest of the fucking... Oh, there it is.
Quite a lot.
Well,
you got to remember is we've got the underside of these as well.
Oh my fucking god!
Of the platforms, we've got the side of a building.
Oh,
this is a big job. I did say it was a big job. Is this the last one that we could do before?
Well, there is another one, but it's much shorter, and I didn't want to do that in case it didn't give us an option to do another one. We might as well get the big one out of the way.
That's what we said to your. Well, no, I'm not going to bring your mother into this because she seems a lovely woman.
She's
Well, she did ignore
delightful.
me about one time I messaged her.
What did you say to her?
I can't remember. I think we were worried about you at the time. I was like, no, I'm just worried about Ben. Can you check in on him? But no, no fucking message. I
She
don't even know if
might.
she's read it.
She might have done. I don't know. She's busy.
Well, I don't know, but I didn't get anything back from her,
Oh,
so I have to assume she ignored me.
okay. Well, sorry. I'll have to take it up with her. I don't know.
I don't care about
She
her.
ignores me too.
Yeah, but she's entitled to ignore you. She's had to put up with you her whole life. Well, your whole life, not her whole life,
Yeah.
thankfully.
Yeah.
You know. She's the most entitled to ignoring you.
I suppose.
And then your father.
What?
And then your father's the second most entitled to ignoring you.
I wish he'd fucking ignore me.
Mm. We should leave me alone as well.
Hmm.
Your sister keeps coming up as a friend suggestion on Facebook, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not going to do that.
No.
You'd rather I didn't anyway.
Well, no. I mean, I don't think she's your sort of person anyway, just to hang about with.
I don't hang about with many people.
You hang about with me virtually.
It's different, though, isn't it? Hang out with the lads.
Hmm.
While they're playing their games, I'll play mine. Speaking of,
yeah.
I finished the main storyline for Hades this week.
Oh, right, well done. You're going through it again
At
then.
long last. Pardon?
You're going through it again?
Oh well, it's complicated when it comes to the main story because the main story is a thing, and then you've got all the side stories that are not quite as important. So you kind of got to keep doing the fighting and all that kind of shit so you can do them. I suppose you could, in theory, complete the side stories first for in a lot of cases, or most of them first. But yeah, I've done the main story and I enjoyed it. It was decent enough. I've sort of had to not cheat but exploit certain factors to do it.
So
Because you can progress the main you can progress the main story without playing on the hardest difficulty.
Oh, right.
Which I didn't realise. I figured you had to do the hardest difficulty in order to progress the story, right?
Yeah.
But I thought, well, I'll tone it down a little bit so I can farm up some resources. Which is how you do any sort of grindy game. Yeah. You make things a little bit easier so you can get through it, so you can get the resources and then get stronger. That's how you play a fucking game like that. But it turns out the story develops as well whilst you're doing that. So
right.
it's not really an exploit. It's just I accidentally took advantage of something I didn't realise was the case.
Yeah.
And then when I realised it was the case, I kept taking advantage of it. But they built it into the game, right? If they wanted it so you had to play on the hardest difficulty to progress further, they'd have made it so you had to go through the highest difficulty to progress further.
Yeah. Ooh.
So rude of you.
Chasing waterfalls.
It's a good game though. I'm gonna get the sequel when it comes. It's already out. When I've got paid, I'll play the sequel. I think. I've managed to do a run now in less than 27 minutes. I think it was.
Lovely stuff.
Started off taking me 40.
Takes me like 4 hours to get through a run of Pokemon Emerald Rogue. They've released a new version for that, but it doesn't look very good.
Does it not?
I think a lot of ROM hacks suffer from the issue where they'll come out and they'll be very, very popular. And then the creator says, well, I'll upload a new version and I'll make loads of tweaks and make it even better. I don't think you should do that. Crystal Clear did that a lot. And it didn't need to.
There comes a point where with the exception of fixing things that are actually broken,
bugs and stuff,
you should probably leave stuff alone.
Just leave it.
You don't want to George Lucas it.
Yes, exactly. If the quality of life changes, I mean, the best part of a ROM hack is making quality of life changes, especially with Pokemon. You know.
I have a George Lucas topic actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you yawning so much? You're being so rude.
I'm a sleepy boy.
You're being so rude. You're making me feel very self-conscious about the topic, the quality of topic that I've got here.
No,
I think you'll find this one genuinely interesting.
Go on then.
And I've got to carry the weight of the fucking topics because you've had a shit week.
Well, I've got two more.
You've got two more topics, so what is presumably going to be at least 2.5 more hours of footage. So just bear that in mind.
I
Julian,
know.
yeah?
I'm very, very. Look, oi, listen, you.
What?
I'm very thankful.
Good. You should be, bitch.
Go on then. What's your George
Right.
Lucas topic?
Well, it's not actually George Lucas. It's someone alluded
Oh, for
to
fuck's
George
sake!
Lucas with it.
What?
Someone has been accused of George Lucasing
Yeah,
a movie that was released recently, re-released.
yeah,
The 20th anniversary Shaun of the Dead, which came out last year,
right.
had one major, well, it's not even major, one CGI addition made in order to fix a quote unquote mistake
Mm,
in the original release.
right.
And some people have criticised it for being unnecessary and likened it to the changes George Lucas has made. Other
Uh,
people accept that it's a thing that's happened. And other people are like, well, because you did that, you should have done this as well. Can you guess what was added? So what was added to the film with CGI?
was it like a blood
Can,
spray or something?
you're very close. It's not a blood spray.
Okay. A gore thing?
No,
I don't know.
it's the pool of blood that he slips on in the shop. You know when he's sort of not sleepwalking through it, but like he's
Going through
the zombie outbreak
motion.
has happened, and he goes to the shop to get a cornetto, and the bloke's there, and he slips right after he leaves the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've added the blood in that he slips on, and some people have criticised it, and some people
To seem
have
unnecessary.
praised it, and it doesn't. It's not a big problem. So I don't care, right? I probably would have noticed that they'd added it in if people
Yeah.
hadn't said something, right? I'd be like, oh, I wouldn't have noticed they'd done it. I'd be like, oh, I don't remember seeing that.
It's
But that's
been
fine.
so long since I've seen it.
Well, exactly, right? But they've added it in, and then there's some people who have criticised it for the fact that they've added that in, but they haven't then added it onto his shoes,
Yeah. I,
which makes sense, right?
uh,
I can
uh,
understand that, but I don't care.
at a
Because what?
certain point, it's done. Right?
Yeah,
It's done.
yeah,
It's out there, warts and all. Stop tinkering. You know?
yeah.
Finish your fucking work. You don't then 20 years later think, oh, you know what? That's always bugged me. We can add that. Like, no, don't do it. Because otherwise, there's the old saying, art is never finished. It's just abandoned.
Mm,
Which basically just means it's never ever gonna. There's always gonna be bits and pieces. Whether it's, you're fine with it. You like it when you've completed it and you publish it, and then you go back to it years later and think, you know what, I might want to tweak that. Stop it. Leave it. Don't touch.
I consider this particular change to be a harmless little change.
Well, I think it's the principle of the thing, frankly.
Again, it at least clarifies what he slipped on, right? It didn't need it, but it doesn't hurt to have that extra clarity.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's one literally blink and you'll miss it
Mm,
thing. It's not like he's added a whole fucking
mm,
song and dance number,
mm.
which we're coming up to, because you ain't gonna be able to avoid that.
What do you mean?
The Star Wars that where we looking
Oh,
at.
that. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, do you remember there's the song and dance
Yeah,
number?
I'm fully prepared to be fucking just about that.
Deal with it. You'll have to deal with it.
George Lucas is the
Because
luckiest
it's
man in show
gonna happen.
business, and we're going to talk about my feelings on him a lot more. Well, I'll talk about it now, actually. Why the fuck not? I think George Lucas, when the original trilogy came out, so the first Star Wars film was just meant to be like a Buck Rogers type space adventure thing.
Yeah.
It's saved in editing. The music is great, and it's a classic story that hit at the right time because America and frankly Europe were a bit shit in the 70s, and it becomes fucking huge. And then you got The Empire Strikes Back, which is sort of the perfect follow up to that story. And George Lucas, who wrote and directed the first one and had the ideas essentially, didn't have a great deal to do with the next two. And he was the ideas guy, sure, but he wasn't putting them into place or writing or anything.
Yeah.
But he's the name everybody associates with Star Wars for like 12 years, thereabout. Well, less than 12 years. What, like, I don't know, 19, something like that. I don't know.
Less than 12 years, like 19 or something like that.
Yeah.
Just want to repeat, just to realize what you said there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I stand by it. So he's the guy associated with them He's
Yeah.
the guy who did Star Wars. Everybody credits that him with that. So when it comes to doing the prequels, expectations are really high. Well, not even
Hmm.
high. Um, there's just a lot of expectation, I guess, and everybody working on it assumes George Lucas knows what he's doing. There's the behind the scenes clip where he's like, it's him walking to his writing room. It's like, today work begins on the Phantom Menace. Now all I need is an idea. It's like, oh god. So it's one guy who's not as talented as everybody seems to think he is.
He had a lucky break, and it has been milked for all it is
Yes, he
worth,
did. He had a very, very,
and
very
then
lucky
some more.
break, and it destroyed him.
But here's the thing, right?
Yeah,
I, I okay, fine, yeah, maybe he's given more credit than he deserves,
yeah.
but ultimately, it's still his name on it, right?
He gets credit for um, like the original,
Concept.
the concept. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
as someone who has written, an idea is the easy bit, right?
Oh yeah, fucking filled with ideas, mate.
Yeah, everybody. I've got ideas for fucking days. You got to actually craft the work around it and build it.
Mm.
You know, having an idea. I don't know. A man he kills his best friend, and his best friend's ghost comes to try and help him cover up the murder because he doesn't want him to go to prison. There's your idea.
Oh, that's already been done.
Yeah, turn that into a fucking movie. Turn that into a novel, please. You know, how do you do that? That's not. It, it's more than just like 3 lines.
I don't think that is a novel. I think at best you get a short story out of it.
Probably. But you don't.
You have to really drag it out to make it into a novel.
Well, you add some other stuff. I mean, there's more to it you could add, but you know what I mean. The idea is the easy bit. And George Lucas is also pretty arrogant,
Well,
and
you
in a
would,
sense, he
wouldn't you?
deserves to be because he kind of took a chance on Star Wars and it paid off. But it's not. I think all this talk of him being the Star Wars guy sort of went to his head.
But again,
Mm.
it's his name on it, isn't it? So that's why people are going to associate him with it.
Yeah, but even so,
Was it Kirshner did the
Irvin Kershner, yeah,
one of them? Yeah,
he directed the second one. I can't remember the guy's name who wrote Empire Strikes Back. Um, but yeah,
it's people were always associated with George. Even now,
yeah,
I mean, there's some lamenting the fact that it wasn't George that did the sequels. To be honest with you, some
uh,
people lament that because of how they panned out, and I look forward to finding how good or bad you find them.
mm.
But before that, we've got my favourite,
I mean,
which is available on ITV at the moment. Actually,
oh,
funny
is
enough.
it? Well,
Yeah,
I was sort of wondering recently, and we'll probably it's probably the sort of thing we ought to say for Phantom Menace discussion. But could the Phantom Menace ever have been positively received? Because
maybe.
you could go one of two ways, and I think I know how I feel about it. You can either say nothing was ever going to live up to the hype, or
Yeah.
the hype would have done basically all the work, and you just needed essentially the bare minimum. If you had a perfectly adequate story, you know, a film that was
I
it would have the hype would have seen it through.
I saw a thing earlier today where people were criticising the scene from Empire Strikes Back in which the Millennium Falcon lands on the Star Destroyer and latches on.
Yeah,
People were criticising that, but there was a lot of people saying if this had happened in the sequels, it would have been torn to shreds. And I do feel like that's a thing that's a thing. Like the sequels aren't that bad. They're a serviceable story. They're a bit of
uh,
a mess, but that sort of lends itself to the situation a little bit.
well, I what I heard was that there was no planning into that story whatsoever, and it seems like every film is written with no idea of where it's going in mind, and it just sort of there's
Well, I mean, the
multiple
problem
people involved,
is,
and it just disregards what's been set up in the last one, like Snoke.
the problem is, the first film came out and there was a sort of plan, right?
Yeah.
The second one came out and it was a different director, and then they fucking went off script.
Mm.
So the third one was spent trying to fucking fix it.
Yeah.
Right, and that's it all comes down to that. The second film is the problem there. And
Yeah.
there's nothing necessarily wrong with the second film, it has its moments, it has its downfalls. You get the fan service at times, but you also get stupid shit like, well, you'll see it, but you get Leia flying through space
Yeah, I've
as
seen clips of
fucking
that.
Mary Poppins
I mean,
job.
that is sort of what I've kind of heard, I suppose.
But it's not it's a reasonable trilogy. I don't like the the, the prequels as a whole, but as a series of films, they're not that bad.
I
Attack of the Clones lets it down because it's just a bit dull.
yeah, I think you and
Don't get
I are going to disagree hardly over the prequels because I think on the whole they are laughably bad films.
okay, but when was the
But
last
with
time you
with
watched them?
good bits. It's been a while, I grant you. It may be that I go back to them, but
That has been a lot of people's perception. Is that okay? They were shit at the time, but actually, in retrospect, they're not that bad, and their expectations were the issue.
I don't think that'll be true for me, and I don't
Well,
I
it might not be. I wouldn't
and
be surprised if it
I
is
think
because
these people are wrong. I think these people are wrong.
there are people who have reevaluated in light of the sequels,
I think
and
that's
acknowledge that
yeah.
actually they're not as bad as we thought they were when you compare them to the fact that this shit is
I
coming
think what we're getting, I have gotten in, the last decade or so, is people who grew up with the prequels and loved them are now of an age where they are getting into film criticism and using their knowledge of film criticism to explain away the prequels as good films. I think that's
You
what's
see,
happening.
I've always maintained that I enjoyed Phantom Menace. I enjoyed it, right?
Yeah,
That's it. I'm not saying it's a good film. I'm saying I enjoyed it.
yeah.
And Attack of the Clones was dull, and Revenge of the Sith had too much going on. Not enough of the substance is there to properly enjoy it. But
Mm,
overall, it's an okay film.
mm.
They're jumping about too much in. Oh, there's a waterfall. I didn't actually see it when you pointed it out. Yeah. There's too much jumping about in. We'll go over it properly, obviously, but there's too much jumping about in Avengers. Simple as that. You go from
Yeah.
the timeline that everything takes place in is too vast. It's too short for such a vast series of events.
Mm.
The last series of the Clone Wars did it quite well in that it's basically three separate stories all taking place over the course of a few days, but there are three different perspectives on Order 66 and Revenge of the Sith, basically from different perspectives.
Well,
Or the lead up to it.
I well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. We've got to get through Ewoks first.
Well, yeah, and then
Yup,
obviously
yup.
before we get to the sequels, we get my favourite.
Oh, is that the next one or is it Solo next?
No, it'll be Return of the Jedi,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
Right. Yeah.
Solo, and then Rogue One.
All right.
So I've still got five films between now and my favourite, and it's only because Solo makes more sense in front of Rogue One that I'm saying we'll do it that way.
Okay.
Ideally, if we would have done it in story order, and it would have been better.
Well, I did think about that, but I think release order. There's a lot to be said for that too.
I know, but you don't get the benefit of the cut from Rogue One to A New Hope that way.
Eh. I think you're right. In a way, but yup, nub. Yeah, yup, nub.
But yes, Sunday we said, didn't we?
Yes.
You're busy and I'm busy, and so I'll watch it on Sunday
Yup,
morning.
nub.
It's like 3 hours long as well. I'm gonna have to get up and
Is it?
coffee. It's like 2.5, 3 hours. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Let me have a look because I've got the. Oh, what's going on here? Yep, no. F5. What's going on here? That's not. That's F5. Yep, no. Have you heard about the latest Elon Musk thing? The really embarrassing thing for him?
Petition to
Oh, it's only 2 hours 17. That'll include the thing
is there a petition to overthrow the government that he's done? Is that it?
That wasn't what I was going with.
What is it? Remind me. I've
Well,
probably heard.
it's a game called Path of Exile 2. Are you familiar with the game? I doubt it, considering your gaming history.
No, I'm not familiar with the game.
I'm not overly familiar with it myself, but apparently it looks like it's one of these live service games and you level up. You play hours and hours, and you grind your stuff and all that kind of crap.
Mm.
And there's footage of him streaming playing it, right?
God, yeah.
And I'm basing this all on what I've heard rather than what I've firsthand seen. So there may
Yeah.
be flaws in what I'm about to tell you, but it looks like he is at a level in the game that far surpasses his ability would suggest he should be at.
You saying Elon Musk's cheated?
I'm saying Elon Musk has
Musk.
been boosted. Is the term that we use. He will have paid someone to do it for him, and now he has the account. Because he is at heart just another one of those fucking guys that needs all the validation in the world,
Yeah.
and he's too fucking pathetic to get it by actually doing something.
He thinks he's fucking Iron Man. He thinks he's
He
Tony
does.
Stark.
But no, it's like apparently he was struggling with basic mechanics. He was like the loot stuff. He was looting random shite instead of things that actually mattered. And which like if you were new to the game would make sense to be making that kind of mistake, right? He didn't know what to do. He didn't understand the menus, all that kind of crap. It's like none of this tells us that this is someone who has played hundreds of hours of this game. And what's really telling is the idea that people would actually believe that he'd have time to play hundreds of hours of this game, whilst he supposedly as busy a man as he is. Right now, he doesn't have to work. Right, as a man who has people work for him, he doesn't have to do the actual working.
And he certainly doesn't do as much work as some people might suppose.
Well, exactly,
like all billionaires.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think that he has hundreds and hundreds of hours of free time to devote to a game like that. You know. And obviously, he hasn't done, because otherwise he wouldn't be making such stupid fucking rookie mistakes. It's like if you've played RuneScape for more than an hour, you know how your inventory works, right?
Yeah, you got a little.
At the end of the day, you get it. You know how it works.
Yeah.
He, from what I gather, didn't have a fucking clue what was going on in something as simple as the inventory. So yeah, he's been boosted. He's cheated his way to the top, apparently. Well, what's the fucking surprise there, right? How embarrassing for him.
He don't give a shit. He's got an army of fucking weebs around him.
Yeah. There was rumours, and TikTok have absolutely denied this. There were rumours that he was going to buy TikTok.
I've heard Mr. Beast might be interested as well.
Well, it's not going to be up for sale. Right? TikTok has quite rightly called the American bluff here, because as much as two things have happened from what I gather. One, if there are people whose businesses are.
Hang on, before we get into this, are you referring to the fact that the US is banning TikTok?
Yes, the US is at present looking to ban TikTok next week.
Right.
There's reasons. It's not quite official yet. There's enough people that are trying to kick the can down the road.
Chinese
Trump himself wants to kick it down the road, right? So, but there's a few things that have happened here from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Now, TikTok have called for bluff, because it wasn't necessarily a ban. It was either we'll ban you or you can sell to us, sell it to a US
buyer,
organisation or whatever, and that's what they really want, right? They'll use, if you don't sell to us, you'll get banned, as a way of driving the price down, and then media will be consolidated under a United States, or that particular media will be consolidated under a United States asset. Yeah, you control the media, you control the narrative, you control the way people think, and if you control the way people think, you can do whatever you want to do, basically.
Yeah, we should start a newspaper, to be honest.
You and me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think it would sell.
Extra, read all about it.
All right, Governor.
Go on then.
Anyway, so what's really, as well as TikTok saying no, we're not going to sell, fucking ban us.
Yeah.
A load of users have gone to what they call Red Note, which is actually owned by the Chinese, rather than it being a Singapore company, which TikTok is.
Yeah.
Red Note is actually owned by the Chinese.
Right.
But a lot of people have their businesses on TikTok, or at least through TikTok, which drives international trade, which means that there's money coming into the US economy from outside the US economy. If that all dies and TikTok goes dark in the United States, that's going to be a hell of a lot of revenue that they're going to lose out on. Yeah. It's a damaging thing for the US economy, amongst the credibility of the government over there, which I know, fine, it's the US government, I don't have that much credibility anyway, right? But they're not quite stupid enough, really, even with the annoying Orange coming into power. You know, they're not quite that stupid to actually believe that it's gonna benefit them to ban it. There's people who are trying to kick it down the can by about 9 months. It's kick the can down the road by 9 months. It's probably going to happen, from what I gather. And if that happens, it's not realistically going to end up ever getting banned. They'll just keep kicking it down the road because they'll see the benefit of keeping it there. But you get, I've seen all sorts of memes about these people saying goodbye to their Chinese spy, as if we've got enough time. It's like as if there's enough money and resources for them to have a Chinese spy per person using TikTok in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, they've got enough people, but you couldn't keep that going.
You just put disinformation out on it. That's what you use it for.
Well, exactly, yeah. And of course, we all know who the kings of disinformation are these days.
Yeah, the Swedish.
Absolutely. Bastards. We're on to you, you Swedes.
Yeah.
That's a turnip, actually.
A turnip for the books.
Yeah, it would be. Oh, well, 89% done. After this, I need to hang some washing up.
That's all right. After this, I need to have a cigarette and rethink my life.
No, you want to go home and rethink? Oh, hang on.
I'm home.
Do you want to buy some death sticks?
You know, I thought I'd be happy once I owned my house.
Oh, did you?
But hey ho.
Oh,
Things will get better.
The house stuff not make it for man.
This is still going to be my fucking year, by hook or by crook.
You're going to get a hooker with a crook?
No. Mary had
a hooker with a crick in her neck?
Mary had a little lamb, now she's got a little coke problem and she needs to finance it. So she's on the game.
It's alright for some.
Shepherdesses have crooks.
Yes. And so do the people from the opening to Theme Hospital. You familiar with Theme Hospital?
I don't know what the word you're saying mean, no.
Theme Hospital. Do you know what hospital means? Fucking hell.
Theme Hospital.
Theme, Theme.
No.
Okay. It's an old computer game, funny enough. And the gist of it is that you are running a hospital where they have ridiculous ailments. So like floaty head syndrome. And the cure for that, basically it's an inflated head. So the cure for that is they pop the head and then re-inflate it to an appropriate size.
Funny.
And that's the general gist of it. And it's like you're running a hospital and you're trying to make money. And that happens, and sometimes patients die. There's an incinerator. And they made a sort of like a spiritual successor to it called 2 Point Hospital, and that became a franchise of its own with 2 Point University, I think it is. Oh no, 2 Point Campus. Sorry. But yeah, no, Theme Hospital was peak business management back in the day. So I love that game.
What was it the Sims had on their loading screen? Reticulating spleens or something like that?
I don't know. Something like that. They'd have all sorts of shit, didn't they?
Yeah. You know, I thought we could play The Sims for this at some point. I did look into it. It's bloody hard to get The Sims 2 online. I'd have to get one of the new ones. I don't really want to do that. I thought we could make up
Sims 4 or 3.
Well, yeah, I prefer The Sims 2, but I thought we could make us.
But I mean, if there's this thing that's really hard to get, or there's this thing that's free.
All right, Puddin', stop your name.
Surely you'd do the free one.
I prefer The Sims 2, but I'll look.
If you prefer to play it, you prefer to play what you can get.
I will look into it again at some point, and we'll make ourselves. Which incidentally is what they did in a Let's Drown Out video. So once again, we're shamelessly stealing from Yachty Crucial.
No, you're considering shamelessly stealing from them. I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah.
I'm not shamelessly stolen anything from them.
He's an accessory. That's who you are.
Yeah, that's all I ever am to anyone, isn't it? Another fucking accessory.
No, you're not.
Just this thing that's there on the side.
The therapy's...
God forbid I be anything of any real substance to anyone.
The therapy's going well, then?
Oh, yeah. It's important to know your place in life, right?
Well.
Just another fucking thing for people to take advantage of.
Oh, shut up.
Just another alibi.
It's another manic Monday.
Well, it's Thursday, so... I had a spooky moment earlier this week.
Did you really? Did you find a lump on your breasts?
No, no, because it's called the nipple. That one.
Right.
I was thinking about a song. I only thought about it. No, that's not entirely true. I thought about it, and then I mentioned that there was a song,
Yeah.
but I couldn't remember what the song was actually called.
Yeah.
To a colleague. I was like, I've got this song stuck in my head. And it's got a phone number in it. I can't remember what the song's called, so I can't look it up to
Yeah.
find the song
Yeah.
to go through the lyrics and get it out of my head.
Was it your phone
And then
number?
the next,
Is that why it's creepy?
no, no. But the next day, Spotify played me that song as just a random selection of songs.
What was the song?
8675309.
86753. No, that's not the IT crowd, is it?
No, that's 01189999.
821990119725
3. But yeah, it's 8675309, and it's the song is about a bloke who's found a presumably woman's number on a toilet door or toilet wall or something, and he's calling it.
Yeah.
Like that's the song. But the reason I think it came to mind is because I've seen memes of that bit in Return of the Jedi, where they're like, it's an older code sir, but it checks out, which I will go over that fucking scene. And that's the phone. There's that number written on the screen.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that's a thing, right? But I've seen that as a meme. I think that came to mind, and then the song came to mind as a result of it. And somehow Spotify has decided to play me that song the day after, just as random, because I put the DJ function on these days. What it'll do is it'll play songs based on what else you've been listening to and what it thinks about you and what's popular and all that kind of shit. And the fact that it would play that specific song, it was like the second song I listened to after thinking about this song.
Well, you know what you got to do in situations like that, because it pops up a lot where you're thinking of a song or you're thinking of a person in your life and they ring you or they message or something like that. You're thinking of something and then it happens. How many times have you thought of that thing and it hasn't happened?
Oh, far too many.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But the trouble, I'm well aware of the fact that it is almost certainly just a coincidence, right?
Yeah.
But I said it's just a spooky thing that happened. I don't say, oh, I'm being listened to by my phone, but Spotify is out to get me. Those pesky Swedes, funnily enough.
No, Spotify's owned by the Finns.
The Swedes?
No, they want you to think the Swedes own it.
Okay.
It's a whole thing.
But it is sweet.
All right. Would you like
That's a turnip for the books.
I don't get it. Would you like to know a good thing that happened to me yesterday?
If I must.
Well, I was working in a different area than usual, and I was on reception, and a lady came round, and she said, "I'm looking for somebody important. Can I borrow you? Or somebody important looking? Can I borrow you?" And the reason she wanted to borrow me was because she was giving out attendance badges to some students, or she had attendance badges for some students in our foundation, which is for like learners with like special needs and things like that. And she said they always like it when somebody new comes into class. So she asked me if I'd pop in and say a few words about how important attendance was and hand out some badges. So I did that, and it was lovely. I felt like Princess Leia at the end of A New Hope.
Give Wookiees a fucking medal.
Yeah,
but you know, there is naturally an extended universe reason why he didn't get one.
Why?
I can't remember. I just don't know there is one. Jesus. I can't know all the extended universe explanations of everything, Ben. I just know that there is one. I'm a nerd. I'm not a fucking loser.
I hate Star Wars.
I know, and yet it was your idea, and you're locked in now because I'm committing you to it.
I know. I'm going to do it because I find them interesting to talk about. Yeah.
But when I used to talk about them, you'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about this. No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to."
Well, well, truth be told, I'm hoping we can get out of our system, and then I'll never have to think about them ever again.
Yeah, that won't work because there'll always be more Star Wars content, and also it's not doing too badly on the old views. We got 3 likes on the last one.
All right. Well, 2 of them were probably me. What?
Well, I weren't any of them. So
what are the views like for Empire?
Empire's on, where is it? I've just sorted by a different list. It's on. Where's it gone? I just saw it. I've lost it now. I need to search for. Empire Strikes Back is on. 93.
Oh.
And 1 extra subscriber.
Well, there you go.
Been watched on average for 5.46 minutes, which is 7%, nearly 8%.
Well, you know, as I've said, if YouTube statistics have taught me anything, it's that people tend to they click on you and they don't like your voice or the editing style, or it's not quite what they thought and they bugger off. That's what most of them do.
Yeah, probably. What about New Hope? What's the deal with New Hope? I'm just looking at that now. That was 228. That's been out for a week longer. And actually a lower percentage of mind you, it was about the same amount of time, but that was quite a lot longer video, wasn't it? You know, point is, we have a subscriber who's only with us because of that video. They joined us because of that video.
That's nice.
So
why can't I clean this barbecue drum?
Because you're shit, mate.
But I'm spraying it all over the place.
Oh, move. You haven't got a strong enough stream.
I think you started on this one, so I don't know why you. It's your fault.
Look, I got bored of trying to clean the fucking thing because it's a pain in the ass.
Right, door. Where's the door?
What door? Oh, with a door on the thing upstairs, wasn't it? Oh, you started looking at the whatchamacallit?
Yeah. We're 99%. We're almost done. Yay. Eaves. What is an eave? Oh, it's these things.
Oh, it's far for. Right, that's that dealt with on the thing. Let me have a little look on the. Oh Christ, there's so much of it. It's up a house wall.
We'll get through it.
This, of course, is riveting viewing for our viewers.
Well, I mean, if you're watching this and thinking, "Oh, this is going to get good at some point," and we're 370 or 350 odd videos in, you're the fucking idiot here. This is not on us.
Fooled you once.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Fool me twice. Shame on me.
Fool me 3 times.
Shame
double shame on me. Fool me 4 times. Shame on you, because you're taking advantage of a vulnerable person.
You've seen that,
yes. There we go. Shamelessly stealing jokes.
You can't fool the fool again. The fool can't be fooled. That's part of a Bushism, isn't it? I can't remember it.
Yeah, fool me once. Shame on you or me. Hey, fool me twice. Yeah, you can't be fooled again.
Okay, but what happens to the duck?
What?
What happens to the duck at the end of the story?
What do you mean? What?
Okay, so when 9/11 happened, he was at school, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And they were reading a book, and it had a duck in the story.
Yeah.
So what happened to the duck?
Vertical house trims. I don't know.
Okay, so you see this thing here that I'm stood underneath.
Yeah.
That is a vertical house trim. All right, no, hang on. Oh, I just saw one. I just had. Yeah, the wooden poles, the vertical poles.
Okay.
8675309.
Hey.
Well, upper deck railing. Which rail have you not? You not railed something properly.
Sorry.
Fucking will be.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, always terrible at the railing. Oh, I've managed to talk a colleague into eating a kiwi.
Okay. Okay. Why?
Well, one of the things that I do as a result of a different colleague of mine many years ago is
Yeah.
I eat the kiwi, with the exception of like the ends. I eat the whole thing.
I don't think there's enough of these. I don't know what. I can't find these things.
I
Cinnamon.
eat the kiwi skin
Yeah.
because it's just good fibre in it, and it's quite tasty. So
Yeah.
I eat the kiwi skin, and I've convinced them to give it a go. So we're going to bring kiwis in, and we're both gonna. I'm going to join them in this experience. We're going to do this together,
Yeah.
and they're gonna eat a kiwi.
Right. Well, I can't find any more of those vertical house trims.
Oh, you not got it flashing for you?
No.
Oh, you get it to flash for you.
Okay. Well, I've clicked on it again. Oh, here's one.
Oh, funny enough. When it comes to the railing, the issue is the entire fucking outside of it.
Do,
Over here.
do I
So
need
I'll
to do
sort
it
that out.
again? Might need to do it again.
I'm not starting this fucking map again.
No.
It's bad enough doing it the first time for me.
Where's the other one flashing up? I've clicked on it again. It doesn't appear to be. Nothing appears to be flashing.
Is it lit up orange on your clicking?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. 8675309. That's by Tommy Two Tone. That
Huh. What's Tommy Two Tone?
musician or an act, a musical act.
Oh right, I saw it was like a phone thing.
No, it's a musical act.
Right, there's one left and I can't find it.
Do them all. Work your way around them. Sometimes you got to play dirty. Although if you'd excuse the phrase, if you get it wet while it's meant to be flashing, it'll stop flashing.
Well, probably won't matter if I go over all of them again.
Oh, we've missed a lantern as well. Oh, it's that one. I'm quite pleased it was the first one I looked at. Window frame. Oh, hurt my wrist.
What have you been doing with it?
Not an awful lot.
Oh.
Just I've not put out for. I had to fill in a DSE form today.
Found it.
Hold on. I filled in a DSE form today, and
Upper house walls. What's DSE?
display screen equipment. I've just done an upper house wall. Is there any?
There's one
Oh,
more.
there's still one left. Okay.
I'm trying to find something that's flashing. Display screen equipment you were cleaning and you hurt your
Yeah, a
wrist.
display screen equipment form. Like, is it everything suited to
Yeah.
for purpose, basically? And it yeah, it went alright.
Good.
I had a single comment on there for something that's not as they seem to want it to be on the form, and that's that my mouse at work does not have an option or an easy option to change the settings on it. I don't necessarily want to change the settings on it, but that's not what the question says.
Where are you? Last window frame.
What are you after?
Last window frame.
I got the last upper wall.
Found the last window frame. Got the last window frame.
The upper deck joists will be down here.
Upper deck rim joists.
Oh, I've gone all over there. Oh. Nearly done. Feels like it's gone on forever. One of the things that I enjoyed about playing it by myself is that you don't need to do it all in one go. You can stop and carry it on after the fact.
Yeah. Well,
Doesn't mean you want to, though, does it?
We could do that, but
well, no. I mean, there's two of us, so it shouldn't take as much time
hey,
to do them all. Oh, there we go. Jobs are bloody good and well done to us. I mean, look how well that cleaned up there.
Lovely seeing it, isn't it?
I did that roof, me. That roof was me.
I did a bit of it. I did some of the bottom bit. I did good too. Right, so we'll call it for now because we've been going for an hour and 53 minutes.
What's next on these?
Clean the temple.
Oh, that's a big old job, that is.
So yeah, we'll leave it. And no DaVinci Resolve. I didn't mean to open you. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Right, I need a shit.